But even with a peace plan in motion, Capitol Hill isn't letting up. Senate Republicans are preparing a new round of hard-hitting sanctions targeting Russia's trading partners to increase the pressure on the Kremlin and force a resolution. Special Envoy Keith Kellogg and I sat down earlier this year as the administration worked on diplomacy. And he joins me now on these latest developments. Listen, we are so happy to see you back here, Special Envoy Kellogg. We're so happy to hear about a potential peace plan. This has been a long-standing war. We want to see it come to an end, as the president has acknowledged. So give me your assessment of what we've heard here in this potential peace deal.
Yeah, Laura, thank you for having me on the program. Look, what you said just a second ago is important for people that are hearing this to realize. This is the longest war in Europe since World War II. I mean, the numbers that are the losses killed and wounded are astronomical. You can't appreciate it as you get on the ground. And you see it on the ground, and I've been on the ground, and you've seen the wounded in the European military hospital or on the front lines, what you see there. And President Trump is going to bring this to an end. And give President Trump full credit. This is a war that he inherited. It didn't happen on his watch, but he's brought it to a place where in the military we always say the last 10 meters to an objective are always the hardest to get to. We're in about the last 2 meters. We're almost there. And the 28-point peace plan that's been brought forward is a work in progress, meaning there's going to be work during the whole week of Thanksgiving to make sure that we get to an end state on it. And I think we have a chance to get there. We have to put in supporting documents, probably an annex. That would be security guarantees. And I talked to Jared Kushner just recently, and I think we'll get those on the plan. But it's like a framework. There are 28 positions on there that if you read them, you know, it really does count what words are said in this, because words do matter. You know, when you look at what Santayana said in the past, those who forget history are condemned to repeat it. We don't want history to repeat itself. We don't want the Budapest Memorandum to come back. We don't want the Minsk 1 or 2 to come back. It's the United States that's going to guarantee part of this. And when you talk to the Ukrainians, and I talked to them as recently as this morning, they really trust the Americans. They really do. Primarily the Europeans are in there as well to help us out there, but it's in their neighborhood, and they're going to have to bear some of the responsibility for this peace deal as well as the Americans. But President Trump is the one who's brought it to fruition, and he gets full credit for it. The war he inherited, bring it to conclusion. I think if we can get to an end state with these 28 points on the plan, are pretty good. It's a good plan. There are things in there that need to be really kind of codified and really explained a little bit more, but we're almost there. And I think when Zelensky comes to the United States, which he probably will, there's no guarantee of it, he'll be able to say, yeah, this is a good plan, we're going to go with it. Now, on Friday, he did address the nation. He addressed Ukraine, and he laid out his plan for it. He didn't throw the plan back in anybody's face. And we had teams over there. Secretary Driscoll of the United States Army was there. We've had in the past. I was there. Witkoff has been there. So overall, of the 28 points, would I write it a little bit different? Sure, I would. Anybody would. But I think the framework is there for a conclusion.
Well, let me get your reaction to listen to this from a Ukrainian representative very quickly.
There will never be any recognition, formal or otherwise, of Ukrainian territory temporarily occupied by the Russian Federation as Russian. Our land is not for sale. Ukraine will not accept any limits on its right to self-defense or on the size and capabilities of our armed forces. Nor will we tolerate any infringement on our sovereignty, including our sovereign right to choose the alliances we want to join.
So, General Kellogg, obviously we have heard from Ukraine from the beginning. They have taken a hard line on the fact that they will not concede any land. Yet we know within part of this 28-point plan, that may be in there. So how does what we're seeing right now with this plan and this potential peace deal differ from maybe things of the past? And do you think that we will actually get there, given what you just heard?
Well, I think the UN ambassador made her comments. I think it's posturing. I think they need to posture for their own people. But I think the details of the program and the plan need to be worked through, a little more definition of the plans that are out there. I think President Trump will do that. His teams will do it. And it's a multi-track effort. Myself and Steve Witkoff, Kamil Dmitriev from Russia, You've got the Ukrainians involved. Get it to a point where it's really pretty hard that they can't say no to, giving them security guarantees to do it. And when you read the plan, if you really read it word by word, it's not a bad plan. It's really well put together. The team has done a good job. It's done a hard job. There are some things that need to be modified a bit, but that's done with negotiations, and the president realizes that. I just think on the end state that I think the framework is there to come to a conclusion. It's not going to be up to the Russians to accept it. I think we can drive the Ukrainians to it, and I think we can drive the Russians to it later on as well with the president and Putin. So overall, I understand what she is saying. I hear what she is saying. I hear what Zelensky said on Friday when he spoke to the nation. It's part of their posturing. I've got that. But they've got some hard decisions to make. You know, this war's got to be brought to an end because they're looking at some catastrophic losses. So are the Russians. And I think Europe will be a better place if we get to peace. And again, I think we're almost there. And I think we can be driven to that.
Yeah, 1 million deaths plus so far, and the president continues to acknowledge, General, that he wants to see the killing end. He has said that from the very beginning, from before he even took, his second oath of office. That has been his pledge and his vow. What about Russia? Any hardline positions you see Russia taking where they say we're not going to move on this?
Well, I think the Russians will come back because they obviously have the leader of a nation with Putin. He'll make some demands as well, some changes to the document. You said something, though, that I think people really do have to realize. As a former soldier, the catastrophic losses, you just cannot imagine this. When you talk about 1 million killed or wounded on both sides, I'm not talking an aggregate of together. I'm talking 1 million soldiers dead and wounded on the Ukrainian side, 1 million dead and wounded on the Russian side. Those losses are catastrophic. Just as an example, the frame of reference, the Soviet Union left Afghanistan after losing 18,000. We left Vietnam when we lost 60,000. We are talking about 1 million dead and wounded. That is an unheard of number. And from a soldier, you've got to think about your soldiers on the battlefield and you get it to a resolution. And I think when you get to a resolution, the guarantees we provide, which we are going to provide, the security guarantees, will allow Ukraine to maintain their sovereignty, and that's in the plan, that state sovereignty remains, and we can build them out as we go forward, both with Europeans and with ourselves as well. Now, there is this point in the plan I think is important too, that there's going to be elections. It says in the plan quite clearly that Ukraine needs to have elections within 100 days. You can probably get there in about 90 days based on the people I've talked to. But it'll be an interesting process, but I think they need to have them. It'll reassure the people. It'll reassure the free world as well. But that's one of the stipulations within the plan.
Well, listen, this is great news. We're very happy to hear that there is something on the horizon, and we are all praying for the best outcome. And of course, as the president says, for the killing to stop. So Special Envoy General Keith Kellogg, thank you so much for being with us tonight. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Laura.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.